From aging factories to abandoned buildings, they have angry neighbors calling for action. In his final investigation, the I-Team's Jim Otte shows us how it happened and money coming, some feel, could finally be a solution.
Take a look from Sky 7 and you'll see the hulking wreck of a factory that outlived its usefulness decades ago. It's the old Wagner foundry in Sydney. It's literally falling apart from top to bottom.
Tower's wobbly.
Eva Cardwell lives right across the street from it. She's angry that she has to put up with it. You look over there and think, wow.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful.
The factory site is 5.2 acres. Out of use so long, trees have grown up among the buildings. The old water tower is still standing, but there's no telling if it's stable or not.
It's very dangerous. I mean, we sit out here on the porch at night, we hear things, falling.
The owners are long gone. It is now in the hands of the county land bank.
Almost looks like a war zone, and it's time to clean it up for the betterment of our community.
Here's what it looks like inside. It's the empty shell of a once proud business that for decades had a worldwide reputation for producing cast iron and cast aluminum cookware.
For them, creating cookware was not about being the cheapest cookware, but the best in the world, and they achieved that.
Matilda Flippo runs the Historical Society here and has some examples of what they made at the foundry. Cookware that was sold worldwide. Seeing the old foundry decline like this over the decades was painful for everybody.
It's really, really sad because you saw men's dreams disappear into ashes.
The foundry went silent decades ago, and ever since then it sat here just rotting away. Our I-Team investigation found not only is this ugly property right here in the neighborhood and poses a threat and a danger to people who live here, also we found the last owner of this property owes the taxpayers of Shelby County a lot of money. At the I-Team's request, Shelby County Auditor Amy Burning pulled the old property tax books from the 1890s showing taxes paid for decades. But those payments stopped 20 years ago. And how much is owed now?
$286,000.
That's a lot of money.
That is.
On paper, this mess belongs to a company called Master Vision Polishing, but they went out of business a long, long time ago. Is there any hope the county will see any of that tax money?
No. This has been a long time going. It's since 2007, so there's no one to collect that money from.
Authorities here showed me how it's costing the community money whenever parts of it collapse into the roadway.
The city had to bring in crews and push back that debris, clean it up, add a fence.
And this is not the only eyesore the I-Team found.
When's the last time somebody occupied, that space?
We're taking a drive with State Representative Willis Blackshear Jr. in West Dayton. Eyesores come in all shapes and sizes. He showed us boarded up houses, an empty church with the door wide open, and then there's this, the old YMCA building that's become an illegal dumping ground for trash.
We have nobody to hold accountable because we don't know who owns this.
Property records come back to a company called Aquatic and Fitness Center, but there's no information on who that is. They owe the county $183,966. The crickets in the weeds aren't the only residents here. It looks like a camp for squatters. And in response, Blackshear has introduced a bill at the State House to help keep better track of who owns these properties and hold them accountable.
It will require owners of vacant properties to update their contact information annually and within 60 days within any change.
Back in Sydney, there is some good news. In response to this and other eyesores, the state of Ohio set aside $500 million for cleanup of disasters like this. The director of the land bank is optimistic about getting some of that funding.
We're in line for money, and we're going to make this happen.
And while the old foundry continues to fall apart, the message from neighbors is clear.
I tell them to get it tore down now.
Get her done. Yesterday. For the city, for us, for the kids.
What a mess, Jim. I feel so bad for these people who live near these properties. So how many of these messes or eyesores are here in the Miami Valley and across the state, and how's this funding going to work?
We're estimating about a half dozen here in the Miami Valley and literally dozens and dozens all across the state of Ohio might qualify for this funding. The state of Ohio right now is putting together the rules for distribution of that money, and then we're expecting that that money will begin to flow sometime next year. So the people in Sydney are hoping they'll be able to get in line for the money, qualify for it, and start to see that money flow, maybe start to see some progress on their site sometime next year.
Hopefully. And of course, we will continue to follow this story as it moves through the state. This was your last special report for us, Jim, as you retire. We just want to thank you so much for being such a great friend and colleague to all of us here at News Center 7 and to the people of the Miami Valley. We wish you the very best. We do have a story about your retirement on Monday at 5:45, so I hope everybody's going to join us, and I hope you'll like it too.
Okay, thank you. It's been a great adventure here at News Center 7.